In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I have a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Alice Coe, and she's hailing over from the team over at Resolve. She is the head of marketing, and basically, Resolve is helping to grow, faster with modern B2B payments and net terms. And we really want to deep dive what that actually means, which types of businesses benefit the most, and also how Alice is thinking about growth for the company. So, welcome to the show.
Hi, Lucas. Great to be here.
Course, yeah. So maybe give us a 360 overview in your own words. So what is Resolve all about?
So Resolve was categorized as a buy now, pay later, BNPL for B2B, but we have evolved much more beyond that. So we are essentially an embedded B2B payments platform where inventory-based businesses can use us to manage their net terms transactions from start to finish. So this is everything from credit checking, credit decisioning, invoicing, collections management, reconciliation, and even instant payouts. So we manage the entire net 30 transaction.
Very good. So, okay, then maybe tell me a little bit more. Who are your clients? What type of organizations benefit the most from working with you guys?
Yeah, great question. So we specifically work with any industry organization that deals with inventory. This is manufacturers, distributors, dealers, suppliers, resellers. Anybody who is looking for a more efficient way to manage their net 30 transaction. And typically, net terms is provided in industries where you're exchanging goods.
That makes sense. Now, and within those organizations, who would be the one who says, we need something like Resolve in our organization? Does it come up from the revenue side, from the technical teams, from the business development side? Like, where does it come from?
Yeah, great question. Great question. It depends on the size of the company, of course, but it actually ranges from founder, CEO, and president to the sales team and the finance team. So it actually spans, we have a very large audience range, and that's because we actually provide so much value down the entire net 30 chain. And this is why we actually benefit so many different personas.
Very good. And now, how do these people learn about Resolve? Like, what's the channels that they typically go through in order to get to know you guys?
It's interesting because we are predominantly an inbound driven company for now. And this is why. So net 30 it's an industry standard. This isn't actually nothing new. Whereas you often hear about buy now, pay later, BNPL, which is a new thing, right, for consumers right now. So you're hearing about like Klarna and Affirm. But again, in the B2B world, this has been the norm. So people actually know that they are looking for ways to make this process more efficient. So people will find us when they're searching for, alternative ways to manage their net 30 management system, or they might be looking for better ways to do their business to business credit checking. They might be looking for ways to manage their accounts receivables. So that's why majority of companies so far have found us through these inbound channels like organic search or paid channels.
Yep. And what do you think? So if they find you through those channels, what role does the website play? So they hit on your website. How do you think about that journey? Like, what part do you as a marketer attribute to the website?
No, it is so important, right? Your website is the face of your company. It's the face of your brand. A lot of people right now, I mean, let's be honest, they don't really want to talk to somebody, right? They just want to self-serve their own discovery journey. So they have a pretty good idea of what they're looking for. So maybe they go into Google and they'll look up factoring alternatives or net terms management or net terms for B2B commerce. And then they'll find a few results and then they'll click on one. So as soon as they click that button, that is your first impression. Your website is your first impression. So the website is so, so important. Everything from the messaging to the, UI, UX, to the graphics that you use, down to the CTA.
That makes sense. Now, if we talk about your website in a bit more depth, right? A lot of marketers we have on the show, they see obviously there's certain strength to the page, and then there's always some room for further improvement and growth. Where do you see strength of the current page versus where do you see room for further development?
Well, there's always room for optimization, right? Always be testing, always be optimizing is what I say. But I think right now, if you were to visit our page, and this is aligned with our brand, which is to be very simple, very clean, very easy. And this is aligned, of course, with our product brand strategy, right? Because when you have any type of software, especially in an industry where technology is really new and emerging, your product has to be simple, easy to understand, easy to use. And so we've really translated that across over to our website as well. In terms of improvements, and I think all companies should do this. Anyone who has a website should always be doing testing, right? And what I mean by this is, are you testing your hero image? Are you testing your, H1 text? Because that is the first thing that people see when they go to your website. Are you testing your CTAs? A lot of SaaS companies have either request a demo, watch a demo, or maybe free trial, but have you actually done enough testing to know with certainty which one of those CTAs is going to result in the most conversions? Yeah, so that's where I think all companies can grow.
That makes a lot of sense. Is there anything on that point? Is there anything that you've learned over the years, can be with Resolve, but even prior to that, when it comes to exactly that, like driving conversions, is there any tools, approaches, methodologies that you've picked up over the years that you found to be very helpful?
Yeah, actually, Lucas, that's a really great question. So there's a lot of tools right now where you can optimize your CRO, right? Yours included. There's a lot of platforms where you can do this. And certainly I like to use technology and tools because they offer insights that I'm never going to be able to know, right? Like where are people hovering over? Where are they stopping? Where are they exiting? But I think one of the techniques that I think not a lot of people use, it's actually pretty old school. So it's kind of funny because I'm going to contradict myself because I like to use a blend of, like I said, technology, but then also old school user testing. So I did this course from Prototype Thinking Labs a few years ago, and it was really interesting because this is where you bring in the qualitative data. You use a tool like yours, PathMung, right, to get the quantitative data, but then the qualitative data, I like to do user testing. So what I mean by this is I'll actually just mock up the website homepage. Like I'll mock up maybe the first 1 to 3 sections in like Figma or even just Google Slides. And then I'll ask either an existing customer or a prospective customer to get on a call with me to do some user testing. I'll give them maybe 2 to 4 samples of, hey, I'm going to click through, I'm going to show you 4 different samples of the website. And I want you to tell me, which one did you resonate with? Which one made you perk up and say, oh, that's interesting? Which one made you remember the tagline? So I actually like to use that user testing framework in addition to all the tools. Yeah.
It's great. No, it's great because it gives you the why, right? Like why do people understand or do or think certain things rather than the what, right? Very cool.
Yeah.
No, what I would love to do is switch gears a little bit, right? And talk a little bit about your sort of daily work as a marketer, like typically we have people on the show that have tons of projects going on. Maybe give us a quick glimpse, like what are sort of the different streams and workflows that, marketing at Resolve has to be working on.
Okay. That's a loaded question. Like every day is different, right? Especially in a startup. But I would say if I were to break down what we're focused on, like how we're thinking about a strategy, you would ask about inbound. So like I said, predominantly we have been an inbound driven company, but we are aggressively launching our outbound strategy. So we can either look at things through like inbound and outbound. If I double click on inbound, I'll give you 3 things that we're focused on. Number 1, which is to stabilize our core channels. So core channels from inbound, obviously being organic search, right? Like paid ads. Are we maintaining our traffic? Are we maintaining our lead generation efforts on that? So that's just like stabilizing. And then number 2 is really continually elevating our marketing operations. And this is where technology comes in because there are so many tools out there, so many. Like if you look at the B2B marketing stack, it's overwhelming, right? So constantly figuring out, are we actually optimizing every single tool that we have? Are we maximizing it? Are we leveraging it? Do we need to look for another tool? Because the thing is, we want to spend as little time as possible doing anything manual, right? So setting up workflows, setting up automations, that is what gives you more time to be creative and productive and think of new ideas. And then the third element under inbound is experimenting with new channels. So there are so many channels that you can test. You have to prioritize. So it's like going through and really assessing each new channel or campaign under how much impact is this potentially going to give us? And what's the effort? Because you want to choose a blend, right? Of like low effort, high impact. And then from the outbound strategy, I would say that we're really focused on account-based marketing, or like named account marketing, if you will.
Very cool. Well, that gives a very nice overview. Now that we learned about, what your life as a marketer is filled with, your day-to-day work, I would have some rapid fire questions to wrap it up. Are you ready for those?
Yes.
What's the last book that you read?
Oh, the last 90 days is actually pretty good. Sorry, the first 90 days. The first 90 days really talks about how to rethink when you're stepping into a new organization or new team, how to like structure your onboarding.
What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Lead generation.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing that you would fix for your role as a marketer today?
Instant data. Never having to use an Excel spreadsheet again.
And for the very last question, right, I'd like to do a little bit of time travel with you, if you allow. So let's go back to, let's say, yeah, maybe we go all the way back. We go back to the University of Nicosia, right? So you're heading out of, the formal, you did actually quite a lot of, formal education pieces there. What's the one advice you would give yourself as a marketer?
As a marketer?
For your journey as a marketer. So you're looking back for today now, you're heading off into the world of marketing. What's the one advice you would give yourself?
Talk to as many customers as possible.
That was simple and easy.
I think we overlook that. I think we make a lot of guesses and assumptions, right? And we have a lot of conjectures. Oh, we think the customer likes this. Just go talk to them. Just literally go talk to them. Go do some user testing. Build yourself a customer advisory council.
Very good. Alice, I really appreciate that you took the time with us today to be a guest on Pathwing Presents. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Resolve today, what's the one thing that they should remember?
That there's a new wave of sales growth and financial tools for B2B companies in the manufacturing and distribution industry. That B2B world has historically, it's always been behind anything B2C. Payments, automation, efficiency, but now it's catching up, and Resolve is one of the leaders in this financial tooling.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathwing Presents.
Thank you.